Alright there guys, and welcome back to the long-awaited return of Real Talk. That's right, I never forgot about this series, but it has been about 7 months since the last episode. Now the reason for that is, when I posted episode 19 back in January, I decided that I wanted to make the 20th episode of Real Talk my 100th video on this channel. So we had a lot of content to make to get to this point, and even with all the gaming videos I've posted this year, it's still taken us over half a year to get to this point, but we're finally here. We finally made it. Now the thing is, this episode, I actually came up with this idea shortly, not that long after posting the last episode of Real Talk. So yeah, I've had this idea for half a year, really. And we're going to be talking about friendship in this episode. Such as like what's good about friendship, the way people validate friendship, how friendships can break apart, and stuff like that. So let's start off with why are friendships good in the first place? Well, as you guys know, my only friends are Che, Connor, Rowan, and Ash. That's it. No one else. Obviously, I used to be friends with David from like 2014 maybe. 2015 to 2018. And you may remember another friend I had appearing quite a lot on this very channel towards the end of 2020. But yeah, I'm not friends with him either anymore. But yeah, the good aspects of friendship are you've got people that, first of all, have the same interests as you. That's always a good that's a good starter. Of course, me and my friends all have the same interest of gaming, and we've been playing games together since 2015, when we finally had the same consoles to play together. And we all have the same interest of watching anime, which, considering not many people around our age were anime fans that we knew, it was nice that all four of us, me, Che, Con, and Rowan at the time, and still do, regularly watch anime. Because with those interests, you've always got topics to talk about. And a lot of you can be weird together, and none of you find it strange because you're all doing it, you're all enjoying yourselves. But, of course, you can also have those more deeper and serious conversations with your friends as well, about topics such as what the things I cover in this series. Things like that. And it's always great to have a balance where you can talk about the things that you're doing or into, but if need be, you can also talk about more serious things. Always a nice balance. Then we've got how people validate their friendships, because people validate their friendships in different ways. Like, some people will validate their friendships based on how often they see each other. Like, if they don't see each other in person as often, their friendship may break apart a little bit. Of course, not all friendships are like that. Mine certainly isn't. because, I mean, I haven't seen Che or Connor in about 2 years. In person, at least. I've not seen them in person for about 2 years. Has that put any dampeners or any damage to our friendship? Nope. It has done. It has made absolutely no difference. Because even though we haven't seen each other in about 2 years, that entire time we've gone not seeing each other, we've still always been in contact with each other. So that's where not seeing each other has nothing to do with how we validate our friendship. I mean, for God's sake, I saw Rowan for the first time in almost 2 years earlier this year, back in April. I saw Ash for the first time in over a year, also in April this year. And with me going back to college next month, I'll hopefully be seeing Che for the first time in over 2 years, which it'll be quite nice to have a little reunion with him. I may even see Connor again for the first time in 2 years. Also will be great. Also will be great to see. But yeah, people validating I always find it weird if people validate their friendships based on how often they see each other. Because if you only feel that person is your friend based on how often you see them, not quite sure that they're as much of a friend to you, or you're as much of a friend to them as you think. Because that shouldn't be a needed thing for you. Because you have that bond that allows you to stay friends even if you don't see each other for a long time. This isn't even the first time I've gone a long period of time without seeing Che or Connor. Back in my first year of college, where I went to a different college to what Che and Connor went to, I didn't see either of them for anywhere between 11 to 13 months. Then, of course, we reunited on the day of MCM Comic Con Manchester 2018, and then, of course, I then moved to the same college as those three, and saw them quite a lot throughout that year, and then, of course, went to Comic Con with them, which, to this day, Comic Con 2019, last time I saw Connor. Last time I saw Che was slightly after that. It was slightly after Che's birthday in 2019 that I last saw him. So yeah, it's been about 2 years. And of course, the two of us have been friends since 2005. Like, come September this year, next month, me and Che will have been friends for 16 years. That shows a strong friendship. Especially considering the two of us used to fight quite a lot when we were kids. Especially around ages 8 and 9. And a little bit more around ages 12 to 13. But after that, we've never really fought again since, and probably never will again. At least like that. But then there's the unfortunate times where you and a friend will just grow apart. That of course happened with me and David. Well, we didn't grow apart. It was a lot more quicker than that. Of course, the short version is I criticised him on his Hatsune Miku obsession, And that's how everything kicked off. But I was happy with the friendship I had with David from 2015 to 2018, around that time. Of course, we made so much content together. He, along with Shay Connor and Rome, were my inspiration to start making videos on YouTube. And as much as I dislike him now, I still enjoyed the friendship that we did have. And of course there is the other person who, out of respect, I won't mention the name of, who basically cut off all contact with me in November of last year, and then we got back in contact in January of this year, which then happened, which of course then fell away again. It's still in January of 2020 of this year. And looking back on the things this friend said I did that annoyed him, some of them I can definitely understand. And this is the thing, this is where it would be lovely to have hindsight. But no one has hindsight. Such as... Okay, yeah, I don't really want to go into it. Just out of respect for him, even though the way he cut me off was very harsh. And was very harsh and cold, in my opinion. But of course that's just my opinion. Doesn't mean that's the correct answer. But with the things that he was saying that I did that he didn't like, when I was reading through them, he sent me in a big rant message. All I could think was, if these things bothered you so much, why did you not bring them up at the time? Because if you don't bring up problems you have with what one of your friends is doing at the time they're doing it, and they don't really feel that it's what they're doing is bad, how are they supposed to know? We are not psychic. We can't just know how somebody is feeling. This is where the power in Life is Strange 3 would be quite nice to have. Literally can tell you someone's emotions by just looking at them. But yeah, I feel like some of the things I was criticised and attacked on by this person were a bit unfair. But some of them I could absolutely understand why he was annoyed at me and had every right to be. I'd give it more, say, a more 50-50, where some of the things I genuinely believe aren't actually really that valid to attack me on, but then other things certainly are. But again, this is why you should bring these things up at the time, not leave them for 3 years, or in his case 2.5, not leave them for 2.5 years, and then gather up all of those things that you dislike, that you didn't like, that I had done, and then list all of them in one go in a big rant message. Now I can see how that can be hard for someone, because criticising your criticizing your friends is always something that's difficult because you don't know how they're going to react. I mean, look at me and David, perfect example. The way David had been acting towards me from the beginning of 2018 really should have made me realise earlier than I did how he'd started treating me differently. And it's only until halfway through 2018 I decided to criticise him on something that I thought he genuinely was, something he was doing that I genuinely believed was negatively affecting other people as well as him. And of course, we all know what that led to. But when it comes to me being criticised, as I've said, I analysed it. I looked at all the accusations that were put towards me, and I was like, okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, that I can understand that. I can understand where he's coming from there. But then we've got things that I don't believe were fair to criticise me on. But yeah, out of respect, even though I'm pretty certain this person doesn't have any respect for me anymore, I'm simply not going to list off any of the things of what they were, what I was criticised on. Because this person has had to deal with a lot over the past year and a half, really. They've had to deal with a lot over the past year and a half. So they do not need any drama from this, which is why I have not mentioned who it is or what they've said. But yeah, that is going to be it for episode 20 of Real Talk. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. And I've come up with a couple more ideas for this series in between making the last episode and this one. But due to going to be having way less time to actually be able to record and edit videos. Well, the ones I do edit on the main channel, of course I don't edit videos on this channel. But yeah, any future episodes of this series, I'm not gonna have a great deal of I'm gonna have a great deal of time. Very, very little time I will have to make another episode. So if I don't make another episode between now and November the 9th, then you guys can join me on November the 9th, 2021 for Why Mock Exams Are a Waste of Time, Part 5. But until then, catch you later.